All right, good day everyone. This actually is a video response to a person who commented on one of my recent videos, and I had mentioned about how God, self, and the simulation are one and the same. They're synonymous to me. And this person said, well, what do you mean by that? That doesn't sound like something very inspiring, and I don't know, I'm not even sure I understand that. So let's back up for a moment real quick, and I'm going to try to be super brief on this one. I could talk about this ad infinitum, so we don't want to go there, unless you do, in which case, by all means, let me know in the comments. I will be happy to talk ad nauseum about this topic, but nonetheless, my Baba used to say this, right? Baba Muktananda, my teacher, used to say, worship your own self. The Lord dwells within you as you. So this was not a rhetoric, right? He meant this. He said, see your own self as God and worship that. Now, what he did not mean is see your ego as God. He definitely did not mean that. So the false identity, that part of you which believes yourself to be separate, all that stuff must be peeled away and peeled back. But when we understand this, it's very, there's a precedence for what I'm saying going back thousands of years. And I'm just saying that to give it a little bit of credence so that you maybe listen and just take it in, but obviously consider it for yourself. I'm not telling anyone else what they should think. But the entirety of the universe comes down to two principles, Shiva Shakti. Now, that means Shiva, the consciousness, the awakened consciousness of God, which was present prior to any manifestation, prior to creation, the source of all that is. If you think about it really quickly, if you believe in God, or if you can try to imagine if there is a God, before he created anything, what was there? There was nothing created. There was only what? His self, his knowingness, his consciousness, his being. He didn't have a form, let's say. I don't know, maybe he did, but let's say before form was taken, there was just the consciousness. And there was this dynamic energy, this potential to create. And that potential, that dynamic force is Shakti. And that Shakti went forth and manifest as all things, all reality. And so all this is just Shiva, God, consciousness, viewing and merging with Shakti, the expression, the divine expression of God, infinitely throughout the universe, the multiverse, and every single one of us is having that same experience on a microcosmic level because this is a holographic universe that we're living in. So each one of us is that same God essence in a particularized expression, just like a hologram. You cut any piece of it and it contains the whole of the image in that tiny piece. No matter how small you cut it, every piece contains the entirety of the whole. So that's what you are. You are that. You are that in a microcosmic form. And so you can verify this in your own experience. You have consciousness. You can verify that, yes. You have a body. Yes, you have sensations. This is all Shakti, dynamism, and the consciousness which knows it is Shiva. And so the simulation is all of this and the illusion that it is not what I am. It's something other than. It's not self. But that's what makes it a simulation. And the fact that we can enter into our own creation, God enters into his own creation and becomes himself so that he can experience his own creation from within. And so that's what's happening. So you can see how now, hopefully, I hope I did a good enough job explaining that, how those three words are synonymous. God, the consciousness, the creator, and the creative energy, all of it. Manifesting as you, self, the divine being that you are, which is also manifesting as a not divine being, most likely, for most of us, but one that is on the path to the recognition and becoming of the fullness of who you are, the truth of yourself. So as we wake up to this simulation and realize, oh, I'm living in my own being, so it's quite a different perspective, and perhaps our life will take a very, very different turn. Perhaps we can even open up to experiences which would not have been possible prior to this awakening. So it's more than just an idea. I want to get that clear. It may start as an idea. The idea is a seed. But the idea is we want to let that seed grow into an experience, into a full-blown immersion into the alternate reality from what a so-called normal person experiences. But is it alternate or is it reality? I'll leave that for the viewer to decide. Much love, guys. I hope that answered your question. If you have any follow-ups, by all means, let me know. And I love you guys. Like, subscribe, and comment. Peace.